take a look. Matt Miller at NFL Draft Scout tweets this out about the AFC North roster. So finalizing roster grades, and the Browns are loaded. If we get the year 2 bump from this offense, they're going to be dangerous. There isn't an obvious hole or weakness on the entire roster. So Tim, let me get your reaction to that. What do you think about that? And that's a guy that breaks down the video and looks significantly and grades each of those teams.
I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, we're talking about the Browns being a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Now, if Baker Mayfield takes the step that I think we expect him to take in 2021, where he's kind of borderline Pro Bowler, this team could be right up there challenging the Chiefs for the AFC Championship. And Matt Miller's got a point. You look at this roster, it's hard to find holes in it. And when the starting 22, there's really not much to pick at right now as far as holes. Now, obviously, these guys got to play on the field. We got to see how the improved talent, what on defense, what that means for Joe Woods, how they fit into his scheme, how Grant Delpit comes back from his torn Achilles, how certain guys like Jedrick Wills improve in their second season. But on paper right now, this is a very legitimate team that has a good shot to be in Los Angeles. It just kind of comes down to if they can execute the way they did last season when it mattered, and can they handle high expectations, unlike they were able to do in 2019.
Yeah, the other thing would be, can you stay healthy? Do you think the entire so we've made a big deal about Baker Mayfield being in the same system for 2 years in a row, but really it's the first time the Browns offense will be remotely the same because they kept changing offensive coordinators and head coaches.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a load off their minds, knowing that they don't have to go into training camp relearning a new system. It's like in high school, you don't have to take Algebra 1 again. You get to progress on to Algebra 2 or even Calculus, where you can start to advance the offense, really flesh things out a little more. And that's going to make it easier on the coaching staff, knowing that you don't have to teach guys a whole bunch of things over again. You can adopt the same principles. You're not reteaching anything. You're just kind of going off the same things you worked on a year ago, but just continuing to advance. And these coaches have a full year of tape of these guys in the system, so they know what works well for them. They know what doesn't work well. And as we saw for last season, especially late with Baker Mayfield, Kevin Stefanski knows how to cater his offense to the strengths of his players. And I think that's what good coaches really do, is you mold what you want to do into around who you have. That's what we saw from them. And I think it's just going to be more so done this year.
The other thing is Kevin Stefanski even made a point of saying he kind of understood what Baker Mayfield can do, and I think that's what you're getting at. He knows Baker Mayfield. He's going to play to his strengths.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all saw how good Baker Mayfield was, on play action, rolling him out. And I think the underrated skill that I think always gets forgotten about with Baker is how good he is in the red zone. And I think that's where you really separate quarterbacks, is how effective they are inside the opponent's 20. He was very effective at it, threw a lot of touchdowns, and I'm fascinated the steps he makes if he continues to be more accurate, more of a threat down the field, especially when you add a speedster like Anthony Schwartz in certain situations. If you get Odell back at even 90%, what kind of threat he can be in the deep game. I think that's the next evolution, is how much more do they use Baker in kind of a full field passing game. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch.